William Frederick Halsey, Jr. was an important United States naval commander. People also knew him as Bull Halsey. He was born on October 30th, 1882, in Elizabeth, New Jersey. He died on August 16th, 1959, in Fisher's Island, New York, when he was 76 years old. Halsey was a strong leader during World War II. He fought in the Pacific Ocean against Japan. He liked to use planes that flew from big ships called aircraft carriers. He was known for his brave and direct ways of fighting. His famous slogan was, "Hit hard, hit fast, hit often, early life, and becoming a naval officer." Halsey's father was also a captain in the U.S. Navy. Halsey went to the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. He finished his studies there in 1904. He started his Navy career on large battleships. From 1907 to 1909, he sailed around the world with the Great White Fleet on the battleship USS Kansas. Halsey became an expert in torpedoes and torpedo boats. During World War I, he commanded destroyers. These destroyers helped protect other ships that carried goods across the Atlantic Ocean from German submarines. His service during World War I earned him the Navy Cross, a leader in aviation. In 1934, when he was 52 years old, Halsey decided to become a naval aviator. He was the oldest person to do this in the history of the U.S. Navy. He learned to fly planes himself, not just observe from them. He believed that planes were very important for the future of the Navy. After this, he led groups of aircraft carriers. In 1940, became a vice admiral. World War II begins. Raids and the Doolittle Raid. The war in the Pacific started when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in December 1941. After this attack, Halsey's group of ships was one of the few that could still fight in the Pacific. Halsey had sent his ship, the USS Enterprise, to deliver planes to Wake Island just before the attack, which saved it from the bombing. Halsey was an aggressive commander. He wanted to fight the enemy right away. He led surprise attacks on Japanese islands like the Marshalls and Gilberts in February 1942. In April 1942, his group helped Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle's planes bomb Tokyo. This was the first time American planes bombed the capital of Japan, and it greatly helped American spirits. A short break, and the Battle of Midway. In May 1942, Halsey became very sick. He had a bad skin condition because of the stress of the war. He had to go to the hospital and could not fight. Because of this, he missed the important Battle of Midway. He said it was the greatest disappointment of his career. His friend Admiral Chester Nimitz, who was the commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, chose another Admiral, Raymond Spruance, to lead Halsey's forces for that battle, commander of the South Pacific. Halsey got better and was ready to return to duty in September 1942. In October 1942, Admiral Nimitz gave Halsey a new and very important job. He became the commander of all U.S. forces in the South Pacific. This included soldiers on land, ships at sea, and planes in the air. This was a difficult time for the U.S. forces. The fight for Guadalcanal was very hard. The Marines there were struggling. Halsey's arrival brought a huge boost to morale. He was known as the Navy's most aggressive admiral. He quickly made it clear that he would not leave the Marines. He wanted to attack the Japanese and take control. One of his first orders was for naval officers to stop wearing neckties with their uniforms. This showed his men that it was time for action, like a fighter getting ready. During this time, he was promoted to a 4-star admiral in October 1942. Halsey led his forces through several important naval battles around Guadalcanal. These included the Battle of Santa Cruz Islands and the Naval Battle of Guadalcanal. These battles stopped the Japanese advance and weakened their air forces. From 1942 to mid-1944, Halsey directed the U.S. campaign in the Solomon Islands. His forces fought their way up the Solomon Islands chain, reaching Bougainville. Instead of fighting for existing Japanese airfields, Halsey landed his forces in Empress Augusta Bay on Bougainville. There, his engineers built their own airfield. Halsey also ordered a very risky attack by carrier planes on the strong Japanese naval base at Rabaul. This attack damaged the Japanese ships there and helped protect the American landings. After this, Halsey's forces isolated Rabaul. meaning they did not have to capture it directly, which saved many lives. Commander of the Third Fleet. As the war continued, it moved into the Central Pacific. In June 1944, Halsey became commander of the U.S. Third Fleet. He led this fleet in many successful air attacks. The Third Fleet helped cover and support U.S. land operations. It also found and destroyed much of the Japanese fleet. Halsey's command of the Big Blue Fleet was often shared with Admiral Raymond Spruance. When Spruance commanded, it was called the Fifth Fleet. When Halsey commanded, it was the Third Fleet. This change helped confuse the Japanese. Halsey was known for taking risks, while Spruance was more careful. Many common sailors liked to serve under Halsey because of his strong personality. The Battle of Leyte Gulf. In October 1944, U.S. forces landed on Leyte Island in the Philippines. Halsey's Third Fleet was there to support them. Japan launched a huge naval attack to stop this. This led to the Battle of Leyte Gulf, which was the largest naval battle in World War II. The Japanese used a trick. They sent their aircraft carriers, which had few trained pilots left, to the north to try and trick Halsey. Their main force, with battleships and cruisers, planned to attack the U.S. landing ships directly. Halsey saw the Japanese carriers and decided to take his entire Third Fleet north to destroy them. He thought he would crush the Japanese carrier forces. But by doing this, he left the San Bernardino Strait unguarded by major ships. This decision led to a dangerous situation for the U.S. forces. When the Japanese main force came through the strait, they found only a small group of U.S. escort carriers and destroyers, called Taffy 3. These small ships were not meant to fight large battleships. In the battle off Samar, these small American ships fought bravely and caused damage to the Japanese ships. They convinced the Japanese commander, Admiral Kurita, that he was fighting a stronger force than he was. Kurita decided to turn back and escape, not knowing he had almost reached the U.S. landing ships. During this time, Halsey received urgent calls for help from the Seventh Fleet, which was under attack. He also received a famous message from Admiral Nimitz. "Where's repeat, where's Task Force 34? The world wonders." This message was meant to be confusing for enemy decoders, but it sounded like a strong question for Halsey. Halsey was very angry. At first, he eventually sent some of his battleships south, but it was too late to help Taffy 3. However, Halsey's main fleet continued north and sank all 4 of the Japanese carriers in the battle off Cape Ngago. Even though Halsey received criticism for his decisions at Leyte Gulf, the Japanese carriers were destroyed, and the Leyte landings were still successful. Challenges with typhoons. After the Battle of Leyte Gulf, Halsey faced another strong enemy, Typhoon Cobra, in December 1944. Many people called it Halsey's Typhoon. Halsey chose to keep his fleet in the area longer than he should have, receiving confusing weather information. The typhoon caused great damage. 3 U.S. destroyers sank, 146 aircraft were destroyed, and 802 sailors were lost. A Navy investigation found that Halsey made a mistake in judgment. But Admiral Nimitz did not punish him because of his important past service. In June 1945, Halsey's Third Fleet went through another typhoon, Typhoon Connie. Again, planes were lost and ships were damaged. Despite another inquiry recommending reassignment, Nimitz again supported Halsey. End of the war and retirement. Halsey led the Third Fleet in the final attacks on Japan. His planes bombed Tokyo and other Japanese cities. His battleships also shelled coastal cities. He was present when Japan formally surrendered on September 2, 1945, on the deck of his flagship, the USS Missouri. Even after the fighting stopped, Halsey was careful. He famously ordered his pilots, "If any Japanese airplanes appear, shoot them down in a friendly way." This made the fleet laugh. In December 1945, Halsey was promoted to the highest rank, Fleet Admiral. He was only the 4th officer in U.S. Navy history to hold this rank. He officially retired from active service in March 1947, after his Navy career. He worked as the president of International Telecommunications Laboratories from 1951 to 1957. Halsey died in 1959 and was buried in Arlington National Cemetery next to his father. He once said, "There are no great men, just great challenges, which ordinary men, out of necessity, are forced by circumstances to meet." Many places are named after him, like the Halsey Field House at the U.S. Naval Academy and streets in many cities. 2 U.S. Navy ships, the USS Halsey CG-23 and USS Halsey DDG-97, were also named in his honor. His life and actions have been shown in movies and books. Admiral William F. Halsey Jr. was a bold and aggressive leader who played a crucial role in the Pacific War. His determination helped the U.S. Navy win many important battles.